everyone. Welcome to the Mic On podcast. I am Sheung Okimbaloye. When we talk about governance, we cannot avoid politics. And when we talk about politics, we must also talk about how it affects the people and their welfare. And that remains the focus of this show, especially as it concerns young Nigerians. So Tinubu presidency will continue to get our attention. We will continue to talk about the roles of the opposition, the state of our nation, and even politics at the local levels. My guest is a man who has played at the heart of the power governance in Kogi State. And within the APC, he served as deputy governor of Kogi State and remains a strong voice in national politics. He's now aligning more to the young Nigerians. Although, I mean, as a deputy governor, it now looks like those on the other side. But it says he's a young man at heart. Former Kogi State governor, deputy governor rather, Mr. Edward Onoja joins me on the Mic On podcast. Thank you so much. It's good to see you.
Sheung, lovely meeting you again, and thank you for having me on Mic On podcast.
Thank you so much indeed. This is your very first time since leaving office in coming on television or any media.
You're very correct.
Wow. Why the quiet? Why the silence?
After 8 solid years of public service, tasking 8 years, you need time to rest, hibernate, reassess, spend more quality time with your loved ones, and then when it's time, you bounce back. Like David went to Adulam.
So this is your Adulam period?
I have passed my Adulam period.
So what period is now?
Time to get back into action.
Okay. So what is your plan? When you say action, what kind of action are you hoping to get back to?
I'm one of the foot on the field for Mr. President. I serve on the board of the Southeast Development Commission, representing North Central Zone and the FCT. So getting the job done for Nigerians, this time around, Southeast region.
Okay, so you are actively back in public service.
Absolutely.
But not in politics.
You will be in public service, in governance, and it's all about politics. It's every day. You don't go out of politics.
What would you say was your biggest experience and a takeaway from serving in Kogi State government?
I would say learning to manage people, maintaining one's integrity and character, even in public service, networking, building friends, and then service to the people. Touching lives, in summary, touching lives.
You were once regarded as the most, in fact, you were once regarded as the most powerful man in Kogi politics. In fact, you were called at some point that you were the power behind the throne, because you were literally running everything in the very first time of Yahaya Bello. You were the man everyone sees behind Yahaya Bello every time. You are the man that everybody refers to. You are the de facto governor at the time. You were that powerful. I mean, was it a shock to you because he just came? Yahaya Bello also got the advantage of the death of Prince Audu and came into power. And here you are, Edward. You said you were a banker. Who was Edward? Nobody knew you. And here you are, the most powerful man. You became the de facto governor.
When you say nobody knew me, I would laugh at that. You know why? God knew me first. And 4 years before then, I ran for a position in Kogi State House of Assembly for my constituency, Olamaboro, under the All Nigerian People's Party, led by our late principal, Prince Abubakar Audu. May he so rest in perfect peace. So I was already in politics 4 years before 2015. But by providence of nature, we got into the politics of 2015. And yes, like you rightly said, I was the chief strategist, not the man behind the power or the man behind the throne, but I was the chief strategist. I was the planner. The planner.
You were the cabal.
I was the planner.
You were responsible.
I was the chief strategist amongst many planners.
You were in fact said to have handpicked about 80% of those who served in Yahaya Bello's cabinet.
I'm getting there. So, and we went into the primaries and we did very great at the primaries of 2015, August 29th. His Excellency Yahaya Bello came runner-up. He was the runner-up. And then we left it to God. And just in the eve of late Prince Abubakar Audu's victory, nature happened. And then power was trusted upon Yahaya Bello. And readily, he called me to serve with him. So, like you said, I didn't handpick. I recommended most of the people from my senatorial district. I was not interfering in Kogi West and Kogi Central because the governor comes from Kogi Central and there were other stakeholders from Kogi West. So, yes, from my senatorial district, let's say 75% were my recommendations that were approved and eventually hired by His Excellency Alhaji Yahaya Bello.
Would you say that was somewhat your peak as a politician in those years?
No.
When you were responsible in making this decision and you have really an executive power because you make a recommendation and it happens. You say this and it happens. You were the silent voice of the man in power. And anything he says, people think, oh, we are hearing the voice of Edward here.
Sure, that was just public perception. Yes, I played my role as chief of staff. That's the role of a chief of staff. You are the head hunter for your principal. When you headhunt and recommend, it's his duty to approve or not to approve. But of course, if there are excellent choices, he'll oblige and approve. So, yes, I did most from my senatorial district. Yes, I gave counsel and advice that would help the government as we believed in, which was a unified Kogi state that was based on character, capacity, devoid of sentiments, as it were, religious or ethnic. And finally, of course, selfless service, sacrificial service. Those were the foundations of everything that was about new direction. And I did play my role as chief of staff for that first 4 years in that regards.
You have any regrets serving with Yahaya Bello?
Not at all. It was great experience for two young men being thrust into the positions of power. And then, new direction, as the name implies, revolutionize most of the policies, programs of states so that it can run as it should run. So, yeah, no regrets for serving with Yahaya Bello. There could be some issues, but no regret at all because it has given me opportunity to learn, to grow, to network, and it has given me a national face.
Interesting, but you don't feel betrayed by him when it did not support your ambition to becoming a governor?
Let's say he did make some of us go pick up our forms.
He told you to pick it up? To
run for primaries.
Did you tell him you wanted to run?
I never told him. He rather, 4 years before 2023, he was the one who called me and said, you'll succeed me. Get prepared. And of course, I planned, I worked, and when it was time, he gave all of us opportunities, about 10 of us. 7 of us picked up the funds from the cabinet. At the end of the day, his heart and his choice was with the current governor, His Excellency Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo. So when he broke the news to me a day before primaries, I told him, you are the boss. You are over me. And what you see is what I see. Let's go get the job done. But I hope you're not making a mistake. There were no issues. And then we went to the field and did our best for our candidate.
How did he tell you?
Yeah, he called me privately and we spoke.
On the phone?
No,
physically.
Face, yeah. And
what did he say? He said, I'm not going to use you?
He said, let's send somebody else, one of us. And he gave some reasons. One, surprisingly, he said my capacity was too much. And I don't know whatever that meant. Secondly, he did say that my people of Kogi East do not really like me because I supported the non-Igala himself for power. Yes, that was the perception, but I think my people love me. And finally, he did say there could be other roles that he would have at the center, and he would love me to serve with him in that role. So It's all about service. So
And no argument. You didn't debate it.
he was the boss.
But how did he come to you as a person when he dropped that on you?
I felt it's not God's time. Maybe there's something bigger ahead.
You almost shed tears.
No, I never did. I'm a man of faith.
But it was painful.
It was shocking. And would you say disappointing? Because when a friend gives you his word, you expect that he should be bound by his word. So that was true. But humans are human, so we moved on. And I did commit to him that I was going to work for the party and work for my candidate, and I did work for our candidate. And he's there today and serving.
But if you look back, from chief of staff to deputy governor, so that ascension in your mind at the time was looking like, I'm gradually getting there. But all of a sudden, that was truncated the day before primaries. Is that what it looked like? Yeah,
that was what it looked like. But again, it was an opportunity to serve in 2 critical offices in a span of 8 years. I mean, the experience is unbelievable. Being a deputy governor gave me that opportunity to mix up with governors and my colleagues, deputy governors, beyond Kogi State. As a chief of staff, my functions were more limited to just the state. But as deputy governor, it gave me a wider reach network. And of course, that helped me to build relationships across and beyond Kogi State.
You were solidly behind Yahaya Bello's presidential ambition.
Yeah.
And looking back at those years of loyalty to him, do you think you are adequately rewarded for all your service, your loyalty, or you think it was taken for granted?
God rewarded me by placing me on those platforms for Nigerians to see me, know me, and know what I'm capable of doing, my potentials. So that's rewarding. Whether I was rewarded by other means, either position or entitlements, I don't want to dwell on that publicly for now. But I can tell you categorically that if you ask me, I would say God has a better plan for me. Today I'm back at the national level, interacting 6 states and the FCT in a South region with 5 states. So you see, that service has put me in a place to be where I am today. So yes, no regrets.
If you look back, it was a useful government.
Very useful.
Yeah, young governor, young chief of staff, and there are those who doubted. So these young people don't know what they are doing. No, they will mess up things. And there are those who say, oh, it is the time of the Nigerian youth. And there are those, in fact, who have said that, yes, it was youthful government, but there are those who say that both you and Yahaya Bello were not the kind of examples for the agitation of youth in politics. Some of them even say that you disappointed them while in power.
I think you would say the team. What were our achievements? There are many. I can reel them out. We had a robust civil service reform that's paying off today. And there are infrastructure in that 8 years across the 3 senatorial districts. I mean, real infrastructure. Roads, institutions. I mean, within 8 years, the government that I served instituted 2 new state universities. Today we have 3, and they are functional, admitting students, graduating students, and development and infrastructural development are going on in those institutions. So it's perception. Perception can be wrong. Perception would not match reality. The reality did say, within 8 years, young men who were not too experienced in public service got in, chose young men, a young team, and we delivered on our promises.
You didn't think that you made mistakes?
There are mistakes, of course. There are mistakes. I mean,
you didn't think that you, at some point, disappointed the Nigerian youth population who thought that these are the phases of youth in politics?
I don't think so. It's perception, like I said.
Especially the way you fought back, you and your principal, against opposition voices. There are those who said that you were brutal. Both of you were brutal in the manner in which you treated opposition.
I think you would want to narrow it down to everybody's experience. I come from Ogu in Olamaboro local government.
And it's a hotbed of politics.
But all through my tenure and all through elections, there are no incidents.
I've covered elections in Kogi State.
There are no incidences.
I've traversed the length
brutality,
and breadth.
Killing, violence. In Olamaboro local government,
Olamaboro is a hotbed of Kogi politics.
And I'm saying that there are no incidences.
You can mention quite a few places where politics are intense. Doesn't mean that they have to kill or maim or whatever, but it's a hotbed.
Campaigns.
Yeah.
Engagements. Convincing people. It's not child's play. It's not a tea party.
That was the reason why you and your principal were brutal to opposition.
Not brutal. Using logic and convincing ability to tell people why they should go your way. And on elections day, they will go your way because they believe and trust in you. So in Olamaboro, excellent. No incidences.
But this, you say it's perception. And there are long list of examples of those who played in opposition in Kogi State at the time. And who will not have good stories to tell about Yahaya Bello and Edward Onoja in the manner in which they were treated.
If you don't win, if you don't succeed, you would naturally not be happy. You must find an excuse to explain your way why you lost.
But in the elections that were conducted in your time, there were huge violence.
I'm saying that where I supervise, where I vote, where I engage.
You're talking about one place. I'm talking about the entire state.
I mean, there are different leaders in charge of different locations. The governor is only at Okene on elections day, just like I'm in Olamaboro. And like I said, you cannot pinpoint this violence.
Would you say that's the reason why you were brutal against opposition?
We're not brutal. Edward Onoja was not brutal. And I think my government that I served was not brutal. But in winning, we win our elections by convincing people.
By all means possible.
I wouldn't say by all means possible, by legal means possible.
Whatever you did to Natasha Apoti, whatever you in that administration did to Dino Melaye, they're on record the manner in which you treated opposition.
Kogi West, Kogi Central. I come from Kogi East.
So, but it's under you. You are the strategy man. You are the helmsman. You are the one who is planning all the strategy for Yahaya Bello. And when you during the elections, the elections that you participated in that brought back Yahaya Bello and the subsequent ones as a running mate, those were brutal elections. Those were the elections that countries like the US and UK were saying that they were going to enlist people on a no-flight list into their countries.
My name is not on the list. My name can never be on the list.
But why were there violence in those elections? The election that you strategized.
I'm not in the locations. I wouldn't.
But you are one of those who planned it.
My strategy is go convince people to bring them aboard to vote for you.
You are the one
and then when you leave that space, somebody else's strategy would mean we have been mandated to get the numbers, but we will only get the numbers by this method. In my own area, never by that method.
But why does it look like, or why did it look like the Yahaya Bello administration or politics? I mean, let me say the Yahaya Bello politics, which you took a huge role, you played a huge role, was that of politics of, I don't take nonsense. I would treat opposition with brutality. That was that's a perception.
Repeating this brutality, and I'm telling you that, yes, I was chief strategist. And the strategy would be, rather than campaign just at the local government level, go to the people's face-to-face, at the grassroots, the communities, engage them, convince them. And I did that.
Were you proud of the things you did in the Yahaya Bello government?
A lot of the good things that we did, yes, excellent.
What about the bad things that happened?
Some things may not be viewed as very excellent in the eyes of the public, but in my area, you know, like I said, when you devise a strategy, you should allow that strategy play out the way you want it. In my area, I can tell you, you can have issues of violence.
But are you proud of what you did?
Substantially.
Yahaya Bello. Are you responsible for some of the actions of government?
It's a teamwork.
So you are responsible.
You take the credit, you take the blame. So I own my own portion of it.
So because the EFCC is after Yahaya Bello now, and there are those who will say, for those things that they're chasing Yahaya Bello for, you are also part of that.
Shemun, I think the matter of EFCC and Alhaji Yahaya Bello are already in matters before the court of law. And it is the court that has the right to prove whether you are innocent or guilty. I would rather not prejudge as a person, but like I said, I served as a public officer under His Excellency Alhaji Yahaya Bello, Chief of Staff, Deputy Governor, and I'm back in the system. And to be back in the system, in the office that I sit today, you go through all the vettings that needs to be done. And I think for me, because when it comes to issues of finance, you can only know as much as your role permits. I would leave the matters of EFCC to Yahaya Bello to the courts.
Would you look the people of Kogi State in the eye and will say that you people left Kogi State better?
Absolutely. And I would say why. One, a reformed civil service, the engine room of the system. Two,
when you say reform civil service,
the
civil service that were being paid instrumental payment, salaries.
Functional, weeding out those who ought not to have been there in the first instance. So that being said, infrastructure, meaningful, lasting infrastructure. I just pointed out one. 2 tertiary universities within 8 years. Model hospitals, roads in the 3 senatorial districts. In my own community, Ogugu, where I come from, I mean, the world can testify. Attraction of federal institutions. In my community, we have a federal institution today. And I think 2 major roads in my local government, and some other roads in my senatorial district, and roads scattered across Kogi State.
Including the excavated road that leads to Natasha Akpoti's
Yet again,
community.
you go back to Kogi Central. People are in charge of that region.
But that's that when you were in power.
On election day, you are where you should vote. You should not have influence of where you are not. You cannot now take responsibility for those actions.
Is that political exigency?
That is not politics to me. That can never be politics.
And what was that?
That to me is even making her more popular and gaining more sympathy.
By the government of the day,
those actions,
excavating the road that leads to...
Those actions will make her more popular, more loved, and then give her victory.
But why would government destroy the roads that spend the people's money?
I said I'm not there, so I cannot say so.
But that's what happened. The government said that they excavated because of security reasons, so that people will not be able to move.
Unfortunately, that's not the strategy that would work. Rather, it would only build sympathy for the person you're doing against, and the result showed.
That was an error, right?
Absolutely unstrategic.
If you were not able to advise the governor at the time about that,
I didn't even know that would be a part of a strategy. I would never have sanctioned it.
Are there things that were done under that government that you thought that maybe you shouldn't have done it when you guys were in power?
Yeah, you can't be perfect.
What are those things?
Maybe you could say the fallout of some of the exercises of the screening. Some of the delays because of paucity of funds. But towards the 3rd year, when funds came, those backlogs were cleared. And within the period of pain, yeah, they were not too perfect. But when it was cleared, everybody rejoiced. So that is one.
How do you feel? Because there are those who felt this was a very powerful Edward Onoja as chief of staff. He became a deputy governor. A lot of people would thought that, maybe he would be more powerful. But there are those who said that was even worse, that you were made something like a spare tire. You were in fact relegated. You were silenced with that position. How did he feel?
You say positions and titles of office don't make the person. Rather, the person makes those offices. There were chief of staff before I came to Kogi State, about 6 of them. I'm the 7th chief of staff. That office was not something people really fancied. They don't even know how it functions. But when God gave it to me through Yahaya Bello, by virtue of the work I did prior to our elections, I revolutionized that office, and it became the office that everybody wanted to become.
Even when it looked like you were going to be silenced?
No, I'm talking of the chief of staff position.
Okay.
And then when opportunity came, and I was elevated as a running mate, and we won the election, I became deputy governor, it gave me the opportunity to learn a new task, learn the ropes of politics, survive the conspiracies that comes upon that office, and I did survive it excellently. That's why I'm here today.
But when you realized that this was maybe designed to silence me, this was made to relegate me and keep me in the back room, how did it feel for someone who had worked that hard in the first term and through the campaigns?
I sincerely will tell you that I didn't see it that way. I never saw it that way.
But it felt that way because the perception was that all of a sudden, Edward Onoja is not as powerful as he used to be. Edward Onoja is not as vocal. Edward Onoja is not as seen. Edward Onoja's impact is not being really felt as he used to be in the first term. Politically, you would feel somehow, didn't you?
Let me explain this. As a chief of staff, my roles, my functions were basically limited to Kogi State. And that, would I say, cages you. But it gave me an experience to be so elevated to deputy governor. That role exposes you. It's a position of responsibility, not authority. But if you know how to play your cards, it helps you to network. It helps you to sit with the people who make decisions that a chief of staff would not have an access to do. And if you are futuristic, if you are not somebody who wants to be localized, you would embrace it, optimize it. And when the moment comes, take the opportunities and run with it.
So you didn't regret being a deputy governor?
Not at all, not at all. In fact, if I was just an aide, again, I could have been tossed out with just a phone call. But that role, being a deputy governor, limited the ability to just throw you away. It was more like a shield. Because at that period, conspiracies became thick and massive. That immunity helped and kept me.
The role of deputy governor and the title of deputy governor, there are those who have occupied it who say, look, he's just a spare tire. It's a useless office. It doesn't allow you to function. If you have your way, would you make way for an adjustment or a review of that office to be more functional?
For the growth of the nation, for the efficiency and effectiveness of governance and government, I would say that the National Assembly, working with former deputy governors, should be able to tweak the Constitution to give some semblance of the kind of roles a vice president would have in country, just for a deputy governor too, because sometimes it's not too, except you know how to play your cards and you are temperate and a little bit strategic, the conspiracies are thick. And to survive it, you need God, you need wisdom, and you must be savvy. I survived it.
That position is very slippery and very subservient.
Even if the governor and the deputy governor were siblings,
it could cause a fight.
You are the first person suspect. Because you know what happens. If anything happens to the governor, you're the next in line. So naturally, the principal will really not be too comfortable with your person. Even if you are ready to put your head on the table for him, he will still have, like I said, even if it's among two siblings. It's just the way it is.
So there are those instances that all of a sudden the governor was suspecting you, or he was uncomfortable, especially for someone who was as powerful as you were.
I would say people can generate issues. You just need to be on top of your toes to survive it all. I did survive it. Out stronger, more experienced, and ready for greater assignments.
You suddenly stopped talking about Yahaya Bello. It doesn't look like you're forgiving him.
Forgiving him for?
The offense that you took for not making you the candidate of the APC?
Is
For
actually,
picking Ododo over you?
I would say it's his prerogative as the leader of the APC to make his final pick. What I would say is you don't promise what you're not ready to deliver. It's destroy trusts. And then it destroy relationships. Say what you mean and mean what you say, especially when it relates to friends.
So you were both friends before becoming...
12 years before.
Before he became your principal?
Exactly.
So after that situation, the relationship became frosty?
After we served together to the last day, and everybody exited and followed the path that God has created for them.
So you are really not in a good talking terms right now?
I'm not serving under him, so it won't be a daily affair for us to be relating. And we just felt there should be space. There should be space. And
so you have given him the space?
The space, yeah. Like I said, I isolated myself for a very good period of time.
Are you able to forgive him?
For those actions, by way of my faith and my creed, if you don't forgive, you can move on. If you don't forgive, you can't even fly.
Well, have you forgiven Yahaya Bello?
I believe I have, from my heart, I have.
But you don't trust him any longer?
Once you destroy trust, it's very, very difficult to build. Very, very difficult to build.
But are you happy now?
I'm free.
Free from?
Looking forward to greater things. And then adding value to the current governor in the areas I can, and then serving at the level that God had placed me today. I'm now having a new principal, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So I'm serving him.
But are you looking forward to playing local politics, going back home in Kogi State?
Politics is local. Politics is grassroots. I will get back to the field to ensure that my principal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, returns in 2027.
There are those opposition in your state like Dino Melai, who has joined the ADC, who's saying that, look, there's no way back for the APC in Kogi State, and that the people of Kogi State their eyes are now open. They see the light. That's what Dino Melai is saying.
My lovely brother Dino Melai from Ijumu, he's been saying many things, but none of them had ever come to pass. So if you want to go by the law of uniformitarianism in geology, the present is the key to the past. You would say that he has predicted so many things. He predicted that he will be governor of Kogi State. He argued that with His Excellency Minister Wike. He didn't even vote in his own elections. He's not governor today. He's predicting many things, and they never come to fruition. So he can say as much as he will. My point still remains that words are different from actions.
You don't think time is up, like he said, for the APC in Kogi State?
Absolutely not. APC, absolutely not.
You think APC is popular in Kogi?
I would say for where I come from, yes. When the time is right, and it's about time, we'll get back to the field. We'll engage with our people. We'll speak to the issues because there are issues. We'll convince them with logic. And then I believe they would clearly get back on the train of renewed hope.
So you've been talking about President Bola Tinubu. Were you willing to work for Ododo?
APC's candidates, we will always work for the party. And I am, like I said, ready always to give him my own counsel.
What's your relationship with Usman Ododo, the governor?
It's not frosty, it's excellent. Excellent.
You're so loud on your support to the Tinubu administration, and you have been confident on a possible re-election for the president. Do you think the president has done enough to make him deserving of a re-election?
How do you assess the word done enough? Let's take it from the basics.
First and foremost, based on what you say you will do.
Good. So, Mr. President made certain declarations while he was campaigning. Certain. Very specific. He came on board. He wasted no time in ensuring that he did those things he promised. Top on the list, subsidy removal. It went at the very instant he took his oath. Second on the list, the FX regime. Third on the list, tax reforms that will bring in more revenue for rapid infrastructural development. All the things he said he will do. I mean, student loans, it's already there. So you assess a leader by what he promised and what he's doing. They go hand in hand. He promised and he's doing it. There are actions. That's what separates his government from previous governments.
One of the fundamental things that the president categorically said, if we do not provide electricity, don't vote for us.
Exactly.
Do you have power in your house?
I do. I live
solar or generator?
A blend of both.
So it's not the power that's been provided.
A blend of the grid. Solar generator, I have not used it in a very long time. In a very long time.
So this government has not done enough in electricity, has it?
This government, from my own perspective, where I live, even though the pricing is higher, I have saved more money than before now. Because then, in a month, I could use 200,000 for diesel. Now, at most, 70,000. That's twice. Just to power the solar if it goes down. I'm on level A or grade A, the category, band A. And to a large extent, if I take out what I used to spend on diesel, and now that I use solar and a blend of the grid, I think I'm saving some money in my own area.
So if you go to Olamaboro, those who don't have the opportunities to have solar, would you be able to tell them that this government has fulfilled its promise of providing electricity?
In Olamaboro, rural areas, the alternative is off-grid model, renewable energy, solar. And in Olamaboro, there are no less than 20 communities that are already on solar. And even as we speak...
But it's not solar that this government promised. This government promised
electricity. It promised power.
Yeah.
Power is not just electricity. It is solar. It is other renewables.
Is it the government that is providing the solar to them?
It gives the enabling environment for people to thrive and find that alternative to save cost.
By themselves.
No, by themselves.
This government said we will provide if we do not give you electricity.
If we do not give you power.
Yes.
Power is different forms. I use solar, I use grid, I use diesel. When I do an average, because the diesel expense has reduced, I'm telling you, practical. And again, because of the hike of the tariff, the electricity tariff, I conserve the usage of power. My children are learning. If it were the days of NEPA and PACN when you can go on 12 months, use electricity and pay no dime, nobody would be as conservative as we are today. But in every home, people are learning to optimize and use electricity
Mr.
and power
Onoja,
the best way.
Truthfully, you can look Nigerians in the eye and say, based on the promise that the president made that I will give you power, you think that the president has delivered?
It's not up to the 100%, but there are alternative steps that are helping people. And I'm giving you an example of my home. Diesel purchase reduced by 60%, from over 200 to like 70,000.
Let me ask you, as a politician, do you think President Bola Tinubu is at risk if Goodluck Jonathan contests?
At risk? He's at risk with anybody who contests, because every competition is a competition, except it's a solo run. So it's not specific to his former president Goodluck Bello. It could be anybody.
There are those who think that the northern votes might go with Goodluck Jonathan. I might be in favor of Goodluck Jonathan.
I'm from the north. I'm from Kogi State. I'm from Olamaboro. And if you ask me, I cannot say, you cannot generalize the north. You don't generalize the north. There could be the core north, there could be the middle belt area, and how we vote is not always the same. So yes, the politics would be trying to use the numbers at the core north. But in this game, strategy is everything.
Why is this fear about the possibility of the North not siding with Bola Tinubu or this administration, the feeling of neglect, of being left behind. Why is that happening? Why does it look like APC is consistently getting unpopular with the core North and where those votes are coming from?
When you say APC, the core North gave us our votes.
That's
for President Buhari's regime. That's APC.
Well, I'm saying recently there seems to be that decline in the popularity.
That's why I say it's all about perception and opposition propaganda. Sometimes, and that's the major problem with our country, this sentiment of tribe and religion, it doesn't make for growth. It doesn't make for development. So there is the narrative that the core North are now anti-President Tinubu. But they weren't before he came. In fact, they were the greatest advocates for the Muslim ticket. And I'm shocked that suddenly that interest is gone. And their reasons may be, I do not know what they were expecting. But if you ask me, most of Mr. President's policy is about Nigeria. It's not about North, South, or West.
And you don't think that these feelings and the agitation now can jeopardize the re-election?
If we go to the grassroots, where the people really are, and logically explain the facts, reality, from propaganda and falsehood, they will understand.
You look at the hardship in the country, rising food prices, fuel price fluctuation, insecurity in some part of the country, transportation costs and all of that. Do you believe the APC government is truly delivering on its renewed hope agenda?
Let's take that. I'll go this way. Mr. President has addressed this nation severally since he became president. And in any of his address, you can go back to them. He acknowledges that there are challenges. He acknowledges that there are pains. But he goes further to promise Nigerians that he is here to ensure that those pains, those challenges, ease out with time. I give you an example. You talked about food prices. 2023, 2024. We started from 40,000 naira a bag of rice, local rice. It rose to 100,000 naira in 2024. If you go to the market today, and I'm talking today, September, you get it for 50,000 naira. But you're not talking about it. It goes for beans, a bag of beans, 50 kg. From 50 to 100 is back at 50. But you are not telling Nigerians about it. If you go to a bag of gari, it started from 30, it rose to about 70, it's back at 40. You are not telling Nigerians. You talked about fuel. Once upon a time, fuel was above 1,000 naira, up to 1,200 and something. Today, it's below 900 naira. And I just heard before I came here that Dangote has crashed its price further to 820 in southern parts of Nigeria, about 850 in the northern part. So, if you agree with me, with more private refineries, and if our refineries truly come on stream, as this government would want them to come on stream, there'll be competition. And once there's competition, the price can only go down.
Nigeria might be looking
Which
at...
tallies with the promise of what Mr. President has said. I will ease it with time.
You look at the options that are available to Nigerians, and the ADC opposition coalition platform has emerged.
Yeah.
And they say their major agenda
is to
get this government out of town.
You are trying to be polite. They say their agenda is to remove President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They've turned politics to personal issues. It's not the governance.
Is that not what politics is about?
Politics is about policies and issues. So I ask you, even though they are not going to make it,
why do you think they will not make it?
Will they take out subsidy? Would that be the right policy? Will they reverse back the electricity tariff? Would that be a great policy? Will they unbundle the tax reforms that would kick off in January 2026? Would that be the policy? Is that what they're going to promise Nigerians? They know that those policies were correct. Those were the right things to do. For decades, people have been saying, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. But nobody had the balls to get it done. Jagaban, His Excellency President Tinubu came. He got it done. That's what leaders are made of. That's the kind of leaders people want to follow. People who say something, do that thing, damn the political consequences, because politics cannot be what you will do always and leave out governance.
Yeah,
you must take the tough decisions
sometimes
for the good of your people.
These tough decisions and some of these policies, you get punished politically for them.
If you look at the politics of it and do not do the job of it, you leave your nation, even when you leave office, worse than you met it. But if you have the courage, the boldness to do what you know is right, though it will give you a temporal pain, but in the long run, everybody, Nigerians will be better for it. If you do it like President Tinubu is doing it, then you are the real definition of a great leader. That's what differentiates great leadership from mediocres. That's what differentiates them.
Do you think your people have forgiven you?
When you say my people, which people?
For supporting an Ebiraman.
We are discussing those issues. And my idea of politics and governance in my state, in fact, we rode on that creed. Togetherness, bridge building, we are one. Whether you are a Muslim, you are a Christian, whether you are Ibira, you are Igala, you are Okun, we are all one. I tried as much as possible while serving to embody that. I try as much as possible
and you don't think
to show that.
And you don't think that will jeopardize your senatorial ambition? Because we understand that you want to be senator.
No. Those are the perceptions of people. For now.
You don't want to be senator? For now. Do you want to be a senator?
Coming. For now, my focus is as a foot soldier for Mr. President. Engage Nigerians. Try to integrate Nigerians. Try to reconcile Nigerians across party lines, including my brother Dino Melaye, Senator Natasha Akpoti, all of them. And for us to logically look at why we must let Mr. President continue leading Nigeria. It's your ability to convince one another. But you must first build that bridge before you convince. The last week I went to see my predecessor in office, former Deputy Governor Simon Achuba. It was reconciliatory because it's the right time to do it. Because you cannot even convince someone that you are not in talking terms with. So for now, what I believe, if you truly are for Mr. President and you're serving under Mr. President, what you should do is reconcile, engage people, connect with people. Do not drive people off. That's not politics. That's not the kind of politics President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing. I mean, I see him with former Governor Kwankwaso that went head-to-head with him in 2023.
You think the likes of Natasha Akpoti will be ready to work with this government with the kind of things that she's facing? The suspension.
I don't want to discuss that. All those are matters of the court. For me, if you ask me, it's not about Natasha. It's about an entire senatorial district. The whole of Ibira land has not had representation in over 6 months. They are a people. They could coalesce together against my party. I wouldn't want that. So, as a leader from Kogi State, I will continue to advocate and push that this issue needs to stop because we have an elections to win. And you cannot hurt a people because it's not about Natasha. Let's not reduce it to just Senator Natasha Akpoti. She's just one person representing millions of people.
So you think that the back and forth is unnecessary?
I think that the courts have done what they need to do, and the time for suspension is quite over. So I believe that you can't say because of one person, you just hurt the entire senatorial district.
But your former principal was said to have been behind it.
Was said. Allegations. I didn't say that. I didn't know that. I don't want to believe that.
But they've been at loggerheads politically for a while.
I would advise them to reconcile. That's what brothers and sisters do.
You think Yahaya Bello and Natasha can reconcile?
Why not?
Really?
Once upon a time, Natasha was in our party. She was in APC. invited in by His Excellency Governor Yahaya Bello. They dined together. They've been friends. So politicians.
Yahaya Bello and Natasha were very good friends.
She was in our party. In fact, she attended one occasion in Glass House, Kogi State Government House. And His Excellency made me to stand up from my seat to go and greet her. And I did. Because once you're directed by your principal, you just do it. So I just believe that peace is better than war. It's my policy.
Mr. Edward Onoja, former Deputy Governor of Kogi, said it's a pleasure having you on the Macon podcast.
Thank you very much, Shehu Kimbaloye.
Thank you so much.
And I'd love to come back again.
Thank you so much indeed.
God bless you.
That's our conversation today with the former Deputy Governor of Kogi, said Mr. Edward Onoja. Don't forget that it's easy for you to be able to follow and get notifications from all of our past episodes and the ones that we're going to do in the nearest future. The things that you do, subscribe, follow, and share. That way, you'll be a part of the community. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Kimaloe. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Mike On Podcast with Sheon Okimbaloy. Mike On Podcast for the independent mind.